Today's lesson is Workplace and Apprenticeship 30.6, Leasing or Buying a Vehicle. So you want a vehicle. You have two choices. You can buy it or lease it. A lease is similar to renting. You sign an agreement to pay for the use of a vehicle for a specific period of time. Besides the purchasing or leasing, other costs include insurance, sales tax, maintenance, fuel, and interest charges if the vehicle is not purchased outright. There are several options for buying a vehicle. You can pay the full purchase price plus the sales tax. You can pay a partial payment called a down payment and take a loan for the rest. Or you can take advantage of special offers from manufacturers or dealerships such as reduced interest rates or clearance prices on particular models. Okay, sometimes at the end of a model year they will do 0% financing, or they might discount the price because they're trying to clear vehicles off the lot. If you decide not to buy a vehicle, then leasing is another option. A lease agreement may include extra fees for administrative costs, early termination of the lease, excessive kilometers driven, and so on. Lease agreements vary, but usually they include the following conditions. The lease term, the length of the lease from months to several years. Usually leases are 3 or 4 years. Lease rate, the amount of scheduled payments including sales tax and interest charges. So they include the total cost of your vehicle, they include the sales tax, they take and put on the interest charges, and then they divide it up and make a monthly payment schedule. The security deposit, amount of money paid at the start of a lease, which may be refunded if the vehicle is returned in good condition. So you might have to put $2,000 up front, and then when you return the vehicle 3 years later, if it's in good condition, you get your $3,000 back, or $2,000, your security deposit. Kilometer allowance, the maximum number of kilometers that can be driven over the term of the lease. So you're usually given like 25,000 kilometers a year, something like that. And so if you, over 3 years, drive more than 75,000 kilometers, you will be charged usually 10, 12, 13 cents per kilometer extra. So if you do a lot of driving, that can add up to a big bill at the end. Delivery charge is due when you take possession of the vehicle. It includes environmental fees, taxes, and the first month's payment. Option to purchase. At the end of the lease agreement, you have the option to buy that vehicle back, and it's based on what's called the residual value. How much value is the vehicle worth when the lease is over? And the dealership will tell you that, and then you can decide to purchase the vehicle at that time, or you might return it and choose to lease a different vehicle. Whether buying or leasing a vehicle, you have to pay the sales tax. When you buy a vehicle, the sales tax is paid in a lump sum. When you lease it, it's included in the scheduled payments. So on a $20,000, $30,000 vehicle, the sales tax can add up. It could be $2,000, $3,000. If you're buying a vehicle, you have to pay that right away. Okay, some advantages and disadvantages of buying or leasing. So, advantage of buying, well, it's better to buy a vehicle if you're going to plan to drive that vehicle for a longer period of time, longer than the 2 or 3 years. The disadvantage of buying, it's more expensive monthly payments if you have to take out a loan. When we do some examples, you'll find that buying a vehicle and taking out a loan, the payments will be higher than if you're leasing that vehicle. An advantage of leasing, it's a better option if you don't have enough money saved to pay full price. If you plan to keep the vehicle for 2 to 4 years, it might be an advantage to lease. Lease payments generally are less expensive than car loan payments. Okay, so that's the advantage of leasing. You also get to drive a new vehicle every 2 or 3 years, and they're still under warranty. Disadvantages of leasing. Leasing includes additional charges. If you damage the vehicle, you have to pay for that. Excessive mileage driven, terminating the lease early. So if you need to break the lease, that's going to charge you. If you don't own the vehicle at the end of the lease, so you either have to buy another vehicle or you have to start over with another lease and make payments on that vehicle. Okay, Jimmy's a small moving business in Nipawin, Manitoba. He's buying a used truck and is willing to pay cash for it. What is the total price, including the GST and the PST? So we take the purchase price, and then we calculate the GST, which is 5%, so 0.05 times the purchase price. So the GST is $1,192.50. The PST in Manitoba is 7%. And so it will be $1,669.50. And we add those together for a total cost $26,712. Patrick lives in Peach River, Alberta, and wants to purchase a sport ATV for racing. Patrick can't afford to make, he can afford to make a $2,000 down payment towards the purchase price of $8,340 plus GST, but the Alberta doesn't have any PST. The monthly payment on the 3-year loan is $198.38. What is the interest charge on that loan? All right, so first thing we have to do is figure out the purchase price plus the GST. So the purchase price is $8,340. GST, 5% times the purchase price is $417. Total cost, $8,757. Now, he didn't borrow all the $8,757 because he made a down payment. That means he had the cash to pay $2,000, so you subtract that. He's paid $2,000 of the $8,757, so he requires a loan for $6,757. That's how much he took the loan out for. Okay, how much is he paying back? Well, the monthly payments are $198.36. He's paid that for 3 years, but he pays them monthly. So in 3 years, you have 36 payments. So $7,140.96 is how much he's paid back. Well, if we subtract the loan, what he started with, we can actually figure out that the interest he's paid was $383.96. Yip lives in Regina. He plans to lease a car with the following conditions: 4-year term, monthly payments at $388, security deposit, delivery charge, kilometer allowance. So let's figure out how much this is going to cost him. Calculate the total monthly payments paid over 4 years. So we take the monthly payment times 4 years times 12 months each year. So 48 payments, $18,669.12 is the total monthly payments he's going to make. If you purchase the vehicle at the end of the lease, how much will the vehicle cost? Well, we take the monthly payments. We just figured out on the previous page. And we add to it the delivery cost, which was given to us, $526.57. And then we have to add the residual value. That is the value of the vehicle at the end of the lease, and you need to pay that. It is $12,195. So he would pay $31,390.69. Now, you might be wondering about the security deposit. How come that's not in the total? Well, the security deposit is of $500 is returned. So we don't include that in the total cost. Because you give the security deposit and then you get it back if you return the vehicle in good working condition, or if you're buying the vehicle outright, you get the security deposit back. If you were to buy the car straight out instead of leasing it, it would cost $25,785, including all taxes and fees. He could take a loan out, and the 4-year loan would have monthly payments of $625.59. So if he was to buy it, it would be $625.59 times 4 years times 12 months. It would be $30,028.32. What's the price difference? Well, if he leases, then buys, the price was $31,390.69. And if he buys with a loan, the price was $30,028.32. You'd subtract those, it costs more to lease. And the difference is $1,362.37. And that's very typical. It usually costs more to lease. The monthly payments will be less. Notice the monthly payment to buy is $625. The monthly payment to lease was only $388. But at the end of the term, if you wanted to own the vehicle, it actually costs more to lease because of the other fees that you have to pay. All right, build your skills, page 323 to 332, 1 to 9.